Iran just demonstrated something that American missile defense planners have spent decades trying to prevent: a weapon that moves too fast, too unpredictably, and too precisely to guarantee interception. This is not just another missile test. This is a signal that the balance between offense and defense may be shifting. Here's what actually happened. Iran unveiled and began advancing its hypersonic missile program, centered around systems like the Fattah hypersonic missile. This is a weapon Iran claims can travel at speeds up to Mach 15 and strike targets up to 1,400 kilometers away. That means it moves at roughly 18,000 kilometers per hour, fast enough to cross entire countries in minutes. But speed alone is not what makes hypersonic weapons so dangerous. The real threat is maneuverability. Traditional ballistic missiles follow predictable they launch upward, travel in a curved arc through space, and fall toward their target. This predictable path allows radar systems to detect them early and interceptor missiles to calculate where to meet them. Hypersonic missiles change that equation completely. Instead of following a predictable arc, they can maneuver mid-flight, adjusting course, altitude, and direction. That makes interception dramatically more difficult, because interception depends on prediction, and prediction becomes unreliable when the target refuses to follow a predictable path. Iran's missile is designed specifically for this purpose. Iranian military officials claim the missile can evade advanced air defense systems due to its maneuverability, speed, and ability to operate both inside and outside the atmosphere. This is exactly the type of weapon American defense planners have feared most, because American missile defense systems were designed around a fundamental assumption that incoming missiles would follow predictable physics. Hypersonic weapons break that assumption. And when assumptions break, defense systems lose their certainty. To understand why this matters, you need to understand how missile defense actually works. Missile defense is not magic. It's mathematics. A radar system detects an incoming object. Computers calculate its trajectory. Interceptor missiles launch toward a predicted point of impact, and the timing must be perfect. If the prediction is wrong, the interception fails. Hypersonic missiles reduce prediction time dramatically, both because they move faster and because they maneuver unpredictably. A traditional ballistic missile might give defenders 10 to 15 minutes of warning. A hypersonic missile could reduce that window to just a few minutes, or in some scenarios, even less. That compresses decision-making time, it compresses response time, and it increases uncertainty. Even advanced radar networks struggle with extremely fast, maneuverable targets. Hypersonic weapons are specifically designed to exploit that vulnerability. This creates a serious strategic dilemma. Defense systems are built to protect fixed assets, military bases, airfields, command centers, naval installations, and critical infrastructure. These assets can't move, but hypersonic weapons can reach them faster than ever before. That changes strategic planning. It changes deterrence, and it changes military confidence. Iran's missile program exists within a larger strategic context. Iran possesses the largest missile arsenal in the Middle East, with systems capable of reaching targets across the region, including Israel and US military installations. Hypersonic capability extends that threat, not necessarily by increasing range, but by increasing survivability. A missile that cannot be reliably intercepted becomes a far more credible deterrent, because deterrence depends on belief. If adversaries believe a weapon can penetrate defenses, they must plan accordingly, even if the weapon is never used. Hypersonic weapons introduce uncertainty into defense planning, and uncertainty is strategically powerful, because defense systems rely on confidence. Confidence in detection, confidence in interception, confidence in protection. Hypersonic weapons challenge all three. Now, the United States is not defenseless. America operates advanced missile defense systems, including Patriot, DOD, and Aegis. These systems have successfully intercepted ballistic missiles in combat scenarios. But hypersonic weapons represent a different kind of challenge, because they combine speed with maneuverability, and it's that maneuverability that disrupts interception calculations. This is why hypersonic weapons have become a global priority. The United States, Russia, and China are all actively developing hypersonic systems. Each understands the strategic advantage they provide, not necessarily because they are unstoppable, but because they complicate defense. Complication creates hesitation. Hesitation creates vulnerability, and vulnerability alters strategic calculations. Iran's entry into hypersonic missile development signals something important. It signals technological progression, strategic intent, and adaptation. Iran cannot match the United States in total military spending. America spends hundreds of billions annually on defense. Iran spends a fraction of that, So, Iran focuses on asymmetric capabilities weapons, designed to exploit weaknesses, not compete directly with strength. Hypersonic weapons fit this strategy perfectly. They don't need to overpower American military forces. They only need to threaten critical assets credibly. That changes the dynamics of deterrence, because deterrence isn't about destroying everything. It's about creating risk. Risk changes behavior. Risk changes decisions. Risk changes strategy, and hypersonic weapons increase that risk. Even if they are rarely used, their mere existence forces defensive adaptation. And adaptation takes time. New defense systems must be developed. New interception methods must be designed. New detection technologies must be deployed. That process takes years, sometimes decades. Until then, uncertainty exists, and that uncertainty creates a strategic advantage. Iran's hypersonic program also has a psychological impact. Military power is not only physical, it's psychological. Weapons influence perception. Perception influences behavior, and behavior influences outcomes. If adversaries believe interception is uncertain, they must assume a vulnerability exists, even if interception is technically possible. Because military planning prepares for worst-case scenarios, not best-case scenarios. This is why hypersonic weapons matter, not because they make defense impossible, but because they make defense less certain. Less certainty increases risk. More risk increases deterrence power, and greater deterrence strengthens a strategic position. Iran's missile didn't just demonstrate speed, it demonstrated evolution in warfare, evolution in deterrence, and evolution in strategic thinking. The United States still possesses overwhelming military superiority, but superiority doesn't eliminate vulnerability, it only reduces it. Hypersonic weapons attempt to restore that vulnerability by exploiting physics, speed, and unpredictability. This is the core of modern strategic competition. It's not about who has more weapons, but about who can challenge the assumptions. Because warfare is built on assumptions, and when those assumptions break, strategies must change. Iran's hypersonic missile didn't just travel faster. It traveled beyond the comfort zone of traditional defense thinking. It demonstrated that speed and maneuverability can compress response times. It demonstrated that defense systems must evolve continuously. And it demonstrated that technological asymmetry can influence the strategic balance. This is not the end of missile defense, but it is the beginning of a new phase. A phase where interception becomes harder, where prediction becomes less reliable, and where uncertainty becomes a weapon in itself. Iran's hypersonic missile didn't just move through the atmosphere. It moved through the assumptions that have defined missile defense for decades. And that is exactly what America feared most. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown interesting, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more in-depth analysis. We'll see you in the next one.